All right, we are here, episode, 11? The Broom Room Unfiltered, episode 11 with our friend Johnny Buzoiu, right? Buzoiu. We call him Johnny Bazooka. John.
That's
Johnny,
the reason everybody messes it up.
I know, but I mean, I've always known you as Johnny Bazooka.
Right.
That's your Instagram handle, I think, too, right?
Yep.
So I always assumed that was your full name, but now I learned something today. So
that's right, Johnny
Buzoiu. What's your background?
Romanian.
You're Romanian?
Yeah.
You don't speak it, right?
A little bit, enough to get by, yeah.
Did you come here as
no,
a young?
I was born here, first generation. It was
just
my first language, and then, of course, you go to school here, and, you speak English, and that's it.
But your parents speak it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, of course.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, what year your parents come over here?
Probably 85.
Okay, so they were like the second or third wave. Yeah, my parents came over here in, like, my mom in 74, my dad in 76, I think. And they met here, and they had me, obviously. But, yeah, they were the first wave. So I didn't know that about you. That's pretty cool information.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay, cool.
That's the European...
Listen, this is the American dream, man.
Yeah, of course.
That's great. So, Johnny, I met you, I think... I want to say like 5 years ago?
Yeah,
6 years ago?
6 years
at
ago,
Mercedes,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And we were keeping in touch.
Well, before Mercedes, I'm drawing a blank on where. Maybe just mutual friends.
I would see you every so often, but I think you come to mind. You always came to mind with Mercedes.
Yeah, right.
Like I have you on my phone as Johnny Mercedes.
Right.
And Johnny got my G-Wagon for me about a year ago now.
Yeah.
So you were so just to kind of give you the background, you went to school where?
I went to Ben Salem High School.
Ben Salem High School.
Yep.
Okay. How old are you?
I'm just turned 30 in August.
Oh, okay. Well, happy
Thank
belated. So you finished Ben Salem High School.
Right.
And I know, obviously, I met you from being at Mercedes, but go back in time a little bit to finishing high school. What happened then?
Yeah, so it actually ties into, kind of what I do now. But make a long story short, graduating high school, I was always passionate about photography, content. It was like a big thing for me. I got my first magazine feature at 16 years old when I was in high school doing automotive photography, which I was very proud of. That was kind of a big milestone for me because it was when print was starting to die a little bit, right? In the online space, automotive culture, really it was big online publications. So I worked with a lot of, well-known publications. A couple guys gave me a shot at a young age, which was awesome. And then got my first magazine feature at 16 and just kind of so passionate about media content forever. And my first job, I worked at the Franklin Mills Mall designing T-shirts and stickers, which was kind of, again, creative.
You had one of those booths in the middle of the mall?
We had actual stores, so we were higher level. We weren't the middle booth. And that was my first job, and then that kind of just kept the creative juices flowing. I was designing things, creating and printing and whatever, and then I was just always so passionate about it. But cars has always been so big to me. I've always been a car guy since a young age. I've always wanted cool cars, and my first car was a 1989 BMW, which just started it all for me. I was
5 Series, 3 Series?
3 Series, yeah, E30. And that got the whole thing going, and then I got into the car business. So how I got into it was I wanted a job doing photography, but I realized all the photographers I know are starving because it's just a difficult industry to make it big in.
It's a struggle. Yeah.
Right. So, but I wanted something I could do about it. So I said to a friend of mine, he goes, why don't you come be the photographer at our car dealership? There's a Volkswagen Subaru store.
Which one? The one
Colonial on Street Road.
Oh, Feasterville. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So
I know Ron.
Okay. Yeah, Ron's a great guy.
Yeah.
Love him. And I go in for an interview, and I start talking to the general manager, and she's like, I don't know. I just think you would do sales. I'm like, car sales?
Yeah.
I don't want to be a car salesman.
Right.
Nobody likes car salesmen.
It has that car salesman, shoe salesman,
Yeah, it's not a good vibe. Yeah. Like the people, right. It's not good in what I thought at least, right? So I said, okay, maybe let's talk about it. Let's see if it's something I would be interested in. So they put me through this orientation training thing, and went through it, and I ended up loving it. And I love meeting people. I love talking to people, building relationships.
Well, you're that's a salesman kind of background.
Type A energy. So and actually it's funny because before I worked in the mall, I was introvert. I did not want to talk to people at all. And this guy, his name is Big P. He owned the store. he came in and he goes, "Sell me this pen. Sell me
here we
this.
go.
Sell
Yeah.
me that." So, in the beginning when I started doing sales, it's like, I don't know, like it's not for me. But he would verbally abuse me, or sarcastically,
Right.
for not greeting people when they walk in the door and like being an aggressive salesperson to sell license plate frames. So then I got good at, getting in front of people and,
You had some practice.
approaching them. Exactly. So the car sales thing kind of worked hand in hand with that.
But probably helped because, listen, it's all about, personality, being charismatic, being a people person. And, if you had that training, and it seems like he gave you a good bit of training,
Right.
you probably were ready to go.
Yeah, I
for
picked
selling
up quick.
cars.
I picked up quick. So I was a part of like a, 4-person new hire group, and I was the first out of all of them to sell a car.
And how long was this?
So this would have been almost 12 years ago. I was 18 years old when I got into car sales.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Was John Silva there back then?
No.
You know John?
I know the name, but
Because I know John was working with Ron's partner,
Okay.
Ron's brother.
So
And I
it
think
was
Ron's brother used to run that place, Steven.
Stamps is the family.
No. But I think Ron Schwartz owned Colonial Volkswagen and Nissan. Maybe
Okay.
he sold it to the Stamps family, and that's when you got involved.
Yeah,
Because
from
I
what
think
I
he
know,
still owns the bricks.
Bill and Eric, or I don't know, the bricks maybe the property. Bill and Eric. Bill is the from what I know, the grandfather. Eric is his son, and then he has children as well.
This is probably right before you. They probably transferred ownership,
Right.
but whatever. So you were at Volkswagen, and then how long were you there for?
I was there for probably 3 or so years, and then I hopped into my first Highline car sales job. I worked at Lexus in Willow Grove with Thompson.
Okay.
And I was there for a couple years, and that's when I like really sunk my teeth into sales.
Right.
First like full commission like job, and I really got my bearings underneath me.
How does it work with cars? Because I don't know. I never asked one of the dealers, even you, when
Yeah,
I was
sure.
buying my cars. Is it strictly commission?
So it depends on the store.
Okay.
Every store has a little bit of a different pay plan, similar to your industry, right?
Right.
They have different commission
Well,
structures based on.
I'm strictly commission. There's no salary.
Correct,
So
but the percentages vary.
they
right?
vary. Okay.
Yeah. So every store has a different pay plan. Some of them have what they call considered a salary plus commission. Some of them have what's full commission. Some of them are full salary. They're all different, right? You
Okay.
got the Carvanas of the world and this and that. They're all different. But general consensus is they're mostly all commission. There's some stores which the Volkswagen store when I started there was salary plus commission. So it was comfortable. You're not as aggressive because you've got that like safety net.
Right.
So I leave there and I go to my first full commission position, and then I'm like, okay, I got to figure it out. It's sink or swim. Like
Right.
you don't have a choice here. So
That was Lexus.
That was Lexus.
Okay.
And then that's when I got my feet underneath me, and I was like, all right, like I got to figure this out. Like I got to make money no
Okay.
matter what. Because if I don't sell, I'm not going to get paid.
Sure.
So then I left there and I actually went back to Volkswagen Subaru as a used car manager.
Okay.
At 25 years old, it was my first management position, which was really an incredible opportunity at a young age because you don't really get that without the experience.
No.
So I did that. I went to school. They sent me to training to learn about the position and how to grow in the company, and did that for a number of years. And then I actually segued out of cars and got into commercial trucks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Commercial trucks mean like tractor trailers or?
Isuzus, box trucks,
Okay.
used trucks, and that was a short period with. There was a franchise, but then I also left there, and then I hopped around a little bit, and then I went to if you're familiar with Rob's Towing, out of Bristol.
I know Rob's Towing. I think
They got the big red tow trucks.
Yeah. Okay. I think I've seen them around. Okay.
Yeah. So I was there for a number of years. I came over right during COVID started. I actually was on the job for a week, and then they shut down the world. 1 week on the job.
Okay.
Good timing because.
Yeah.
And what I did there was they had a commercial truck franchise. They're called jockey trucks.
Okay.
And then the trucks that move trailers around warehouses.
Okay.
And then I also had a classic and muscle car dealer. So I managed the classic and muscle car dealer, and I was heavily involved in commercial truck franchise as well. And I learned a lot about muscle cars, classic cars. I was buying cars, bring a trailer, meek 'em, Barrett Jackson. I was involved in all this stuff. And it was a lot of fun. You want to talk about
A lot of traveling too, I'm sure.
a little bit of travel, not so much, because it was during COVID. But the interesting part about that market is very recreational, right? People are buying a Challenger or a Camaro that's 6 figures. You're buying that for a toy. It's not
Right.
a necessity, right? So I got to see that whole side of the business, and then I got an opportunity to go to Mercedes. They brought me in as a commercial truck manager initially. to run their Sprinter department. And then from there, shortly thereafter, they said, we need you, to help run the new car department and be a part of that team. And the rest is kind of history. Now I'm also working at the Honda dealership as well.
So that's what happened. I mean, I think I bought my car through you last year. And I think maybe within a few weeks, you were transitioning to Honda.
Yep.
So now it's Faulkner Honda.
Yes, same dealership group. Great group to work for.
Yeah.
Great group, family owned and operated.
I mean, they're amazing.
1932.
Yeah. So how many dealerships do they own?
31.
Wow.
Yeah, 31 stores.
Well, they're all about customer
years.
service. I mean, they are magnificent. So I always gotta give them kudos anytime I can. My car. I had an issue with my dashboard. They replaced it for free.
I saw that. Yeah,
which
they got
was
that done.
Amazing.
That's incredible.
So I mean, I give them a lot of credit. But anyway, so Faulkner Mercedes. You were there, then you transitioned to Faulkner Honda.
Correct.
And are you still with them?
Yes.
Oh, so you're basically, what's your role there?
So I'm sales manager.
You're sales manager of Honda. Okay, so if anybody needs to get a Honda, this is the guy to talk to. That's great.
Yeah.
And now into like the nitty gritty. We are now sitting in your studio.
Yep.
We're doing the Boom Room Unfiltered at Johnny's studio, which is in Langhorne, right?
Yes.
It's considered, yeah. So I know you mentioned earlier in this podcast that you had a love for photography, videography. Tell me, like, what is this field that now you're kind of going in full force on?
Yeah, so it's been something that I've always been very passionate about for the longest time. I mean, I've been a photographer for years and years and years and years, and then I got into more creative type media for businesses.
Okay.
It transitioned, right? I've always been a car guy. I love cars. I've got my toys that I play with, but I've always wanted to help people, and that comes with sales, right? So there's businesses that need pictures, they need videos. One of the first commercial photo video projects I did was for Rob's. They needed content for a brochure of their body shop and their collision center. So I went in and shot all the pictures, very professional. I did that when I was 22 years old, I think it was. So coming on 8 years now with that. And that was like my first kind of commercial application, shoot that I did. And I really liked it, being able to help businesses grow their image and, kind of put a vision on what they're creating, right? Take the pictures and stage it the way we want it to look and try to get across what it is that they do and how to show that, right, to the people that are looking at the photos or the videos or social media or what it is, and kind of get across their brand identity and their brand image, and also be able to consult them in how to grow that in a more modern manner.
Okay. So you're now, what is the name of this?
Bazooka Studios.
Bazooka Studios.
Yes.
Okay, makes sense. So where do you see, I guess you're doing social media.
Right.
You're doing podcasts.
Right.
So like, for example, I'm here at your podcast. How is that going to roll for future podcasts? If somebody wants to hold a podcast here, you would be available for that purpose.
100%, yeah. So essentially the way we do business now, Bazooka Studios, we do full-time social media management and content creation.
Okay.
And essentially what we offer is a package where you'd be able to, similar to an Amazon subscription, right? You subscribe, and we offer services based on how many, let's say, photos or videos that you want per month, whatever type of content you want, whether it's podcast, videos, pictures, product, whatever. And based on that, we have all the services we need to do that, event coverage, whatever it might be.
So say, for example, I just had somebody call me, a client, and he's opening up a roofing business. He's a developer, wants to do roofing. And he's like, how do I get my feet wet in the door? So he would be a perfect candidate for you.
100%. Yeah.
He basically, so he comes to you, say, Johnny, I want to do this. So how would that run? You would, say, you would allot time for stagnant posts, video posts.
Correct. Yeah. So we work off of, obviously, a part of our, kind of whiteboarding session. We'll decide on what makes the most sense for your growth and what you're trying to accomplish, right? Because there's going to be people like you that are going to post 2 times a day, sometimes 3 times a day.
Right.
There's going to be people that only want to post, let's say, 1 time every other day. You want to post twice a week, whatever the intensity of what you're trying to grow is.
What do you think is the appropriate time? Does it vary per business, per individual?
Good question.
Or is it budget? Is it budget the main thing?
Budget's the biggest driver of it, of course. Yeah,
Okay.
because the money that's spent creating the content, it costs money, right?
Correct.
It
But
costs time and money.
I'm saying the how often these videos are coming out?
Yeah, so it'll be based on how many finished pieces of material that we're coming out with, right? And how frequently we're posting it. We also offer packages where we just deliver the content. We don't do the posting for you. So some people want a full management. They don't have the time to deal with posting and getting on social media and commenting and hashtags and descriptions and this and that. Or we offer, let's say you're a young go-getter and you want to just manage the social media yourself, but you just want good content, we offer that as a service as well.
So when you say good content, you're talking about like, are you going to send a videographer out to this business for, 6 hours a week, get as much content as you can, and then you're going to cut it up, send them the raw footage or the edited footage?
Yeah, we do all the final content, right? So we work with our team. We've got 2 photographer, videographers, and we have an account manager as well.
Okay.
And essentially what we do is we'll schedule based on what the business needs, right? So there's going to be some weeks in a business, depending on what industry you're in, there's nothing to shoot, right? It's just like filler projects, whatever, just catching up, miscellaneous, admin. And then there's going to be other weeks where it's like, we got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we got this going on. No problem. We make sure we get the coverage across the board for it.
Gotcha. So how do you, number one, what are you going to do? Obviously, this is a great way to kind of get potential clients to come to you. But what are some ways to get the word out there?
Yeah, so really cold calling, kind of
Is that what you've been doing?
My favorite approach. Yeah, 100%. Repeat, referral, cold call, that type of stuff.
I would imagine you have a huge book of business because of the dealerships that you've worked for in the past.
You know what's funny? I don't really market what I do at all.
I think you should.
I think there's a market for it.
I think there definitely is.
When I started to realize that there was a potential to help people grow their brands, I was like, you know what? I got to have sustained growth, and it's got to be consistent. But I also don't want to put it out there and say, hey, I want 1,000 customers. Everybody, let's get started.
You want to be able to service, like, listen, I'd love to have 1,000 clients and sellers too, but I want to be able to service them. So taking on like too many clients is also going to hurt you. But I think right now, growing your business, I mean, you want to get in front of as many people as you can. So obviously I'm sure you are probably implementing what you're doing for other potential clients for your business.
Yes,
right?
Yeah, exactly. So we create content for our own business. We're not as aggressive with it as we are for some of our clients because we spend a lot of our own time making sure our clients get the best work we possibly can. But as we start to develop this blueprint out of what we're trying to do and help people and learn and, constantly growing with new techniques, new equipment, new mindsets, it will be a higher priority for sure, but it takes a little bit of time. You want to make sure the blueprint's correct, right? I mean, especially as you start an agent or a brokerage, you want to make sure that you've got the correct team in the right position and people have the right responsibilities.
Yeah, it's a lot of trial and error, and I'm sure the same thing's going to go for you. Correct. You have to see what works and what doesn't work. I've been doing this for 20 plus years, like 23 years, and I've only kind of experienced, I started doing social media back in 2009, 2000 with Facebook, and people are like, what are you doing? Like, what are you posting houses for? And then fast forward 14 years, and if you're not, you're way, and if you're not doing videos, you're not doing, the reels, you're way in the past. So you have to constantly stay up with the times. And I guess, what do you see this industry, 5 years from now?
I think it's required.
Yeah.
I think if you're not doing anything on it now, you're well behind the 8 ball.
What do you think is like the correct way to, say for example, my budget, just somebody new he wants to get this business off its feet. What do we got to do? His budget, say $1,000 a month. What can this person do for $1,000 a month?
So there's content to be had for something like that. It would depend on obviously the type of content that's being shot, how frequent, whatever it is. But yeah, you're going to get a couple reels or videos per week. You're going to get, pictures and videos. It may be something where you have to deploy the content on your own or something that we can, work in and help you with.
So if somebody's taking content like videos on their own, they can kind of jumble them together, send them to you. You can cut it up, and you can send them a finished product.
Correct.
See, that's great. That's a good, I think this field, this industry of what you're trying to, what you're doing, it would be huge for a lot of these new entrepreneurs.
Especially agents, I think, is a big opportunity as well, right? Because agents, they prioritize posting the new listings and the new videos. But I think the thing about there's something to pay attention to the type of content that you do is you keep it raw, right?
Yeah.
It's unfiltered.
Yeah.
But at the same point, it's genuine.
Well, at least for us, with Mayank and I and Bailey, we talk about it all the time. What people want to see is what goes on behind the scenes. They don't want to see anything staged. They can assume that it's staged. They even said yesterday's video that I'm not going to get into, a lot of the comments is that it's staged. It's fake. It's not fake. Nothing we do is fake. I mean, unfortunately, I wish some of the stuff was fake, but this is the kind of stuff we deal with on a regular basis. And I'm sure when some of these agents or clients are going to approach you about, filming, doing content, some of these crazy situations are going to come into play.
100%.
And you'll see some crazy stories. But people want to see drama. They want to see...
it's the engagement. That's what gets you hooked, right?
They
it's
don't
like,
want,
what's going to happen
And
next?
that's the thing, is that people it's great to show this beautiful property, this beautiful picture, this beautiful floor plan, but eventually it gets redundant. It's great, you're promoting it, and those eyes that you're putting in front of are, maybe somebody buys it, maybe not, but people talk about it.
Right.
But when they see drama and they see, good negotiations, poor negotiations, people in a compromising situation, that's what gets people's attention. So I don't know. I mean, it's every day is different, at least for me. And
that's what keeps it exciting.
well, that's what keeps things exciting, and that's what brings people coming back to see more. They're like, okay, what's going on today in Joe's life? And that's what I'm sure you're going to do for other potential clients.
Right,
They want
exactly.
to see, how to engage those eyes for that particular business.
Right, exactly. So, and that's something to be proud of, because you're creating, polished material, but at the same point, it's like, proud of what we're doing, right? You're going to be proud of the stuff that you're putting out there, whether it's funny, raw, professional, polished. Like, you do a little bit of everything. You'll make a nice, holiday video with your family, or you'll do, a video you telling this guy, like, dude, a washer dryer.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunately every day, like I said, is a different, but you want to appease everybody out there. So obviously I'm a family man. I have kids, I have my wife, and it's the holidays, so we want to do something more holiday driven. It was the election a couple months ago, and the plan was to do something that was geared toward the election. We did that presidential campaign. Again, it's something you need to kind of, I'm sure this is something you're going to explain, and I'm sure you're doing that with your future clients and present clients. You need to stay ahead of the competition.
Right.
Because, and I'm seeing right now in my competition, everybody's doing they're trying to do what I'm doing.
Right.
And God bless them. Listen, there's enough business for everybody, and I hope they succeed. But, what works for me might not work for him or for her. So this is what's working for us for now, and hopefully it continues. But we're not going to continue just doing this forever. We have to always
diversify,
because if you don't, you're going to be left in the dust.
Correct.
And that's why, we're always changing things, learning, does this work? Does this work? No, it doesn't. Let's start doing this. Let's go this direction. So I'm sure you're going to see it. And I'm sure, being in the sales industry and having the experience and the knowledge, you're going to see what works and what doesn't work. And this is, it's exciting to see you grow.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Where do you see this Johnny Bazooka studio in the next 5 years?
Well, I think I'm going to be staying in the car business. I love it. Mm-hmm. It's a passion for me. That's not going to change.
Couldn't you incorporate? I mean, I'm sure you've spoken to Faulkner to do something with their social media, like helping them out.
I probably could. I don't think I'm at that point where I'm ready to bring on a project like that.
Right.
I enjoy what I do every day, and I want to keep it that way. But at the same point, there's something to be had about helping good friends, in any capacity I can. And the clients that I have now that I do work for, they're good friends. And that's the thing that I think I'm proudest about, is being able to help people that I care about and the people that I have relationships with in any way I can.
What like the clients that you're servicing now, are they ranging from
any industry?
Give me a couple of businesses
anything, yeah. So I work with a real estate agent. I work with a home renovation company. Mm-hmm. I work with a company that does wheel refinishing and repair. Mm-hmm. Little bit of everything. I mean, literally anything that you can think of, we can help, because that's the thing about social media, and online in general. You need content no matter what. It doesn't matter what field you're in, whether you're a restaurant, whether you're a flower shop, whether you're, a real estate agent, any industry, you need content.
100%.
And the biggest thing that people miss about making content is the consistency part of it.
I was just going to say that to you. Yeah, I think consistency is key. Yeah.
That's the key. And, I find that the clients that I work with, there's clients that I do content for, and I publish the content and it goes out, and it does great, and it's beautiful polished material. And there's clients that also double up on top of what I'm already doing, and they further assist that, right? So let's say, I'm doing a video of whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. And then they start posting stuff as well, more iPhone live content, whatever it is, you're doubling up your material on top of that. So you're further helping the polished content that we're creating with additional stuff. And again, it comes back to the consistency.
You have to do it every day. once a day, twice a day, but you have to do it every day.
Right.
I hear story after story, individuals will reach out to me like, I was doing this for 6 months, 3 months, 2 weeks, and nothing. I don't have any. It doesn't work that way.
You can't do it.
You
that
can't.
way.
You can't. You can't just.
You can't even look at it on a 30-day window.
I've had billboards probably since 2012, 2013, and I literally have not missed a beat. I've had one, maybe two people. Teddy reached out to me, and another guy, I believe, said, "I saw your billboard. I want to sell my house." It's not about, people are not going to pick up the phone because they've seen you.
You have to stay in front of them.
You have to stay in front of them. And this is just an addition. So if they're doubling up what you're doing, that's great. But that you can't just stop and just say, this is all I'm going to do. You need to continue. This is branding.
Right.
And people have to understand.
You have an image to keep up with.
Well, yeah. I mean, it comes with time. You can't just all of a sudden I'm going to give Johnny $1,000 a month or $5,000 a month, and I want to all of a sudden 30 days I want to see results.
Right.
It doesn't happen.
It doesn't.
It's
work
not going to happen that way.
And the consistency is everything. And the same thing in your industry, right? Of course, you're going to cold call prospect people to sell their house or to buy a house, right? They're not going to say yes on the first pitch.
No. I mean, listen, I've had maybe 300-400 calls that I've made, and I've had one person, and sometimes nobody's interested.
Right.
It's the luck of the draw. And I've had sometimes I've made 2-3 calls, and the third person was interested.
Right.
But again, I'm only one person, and I'd love to telemarket every single day.
Right.
That's just one facet of sales. But the main thing is obviously being out there. That's where you come into play. You being consistent and branding yourself the right way. And I think that's where you and the studio comes into play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a big part. And again, I mean, if you're not doing it, that's the first step. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Even if you're doing it on your phone, whatever, you don't have professional stuff. Anything is better than nothing.
100%. You have to do something just to kind of be in front of people's faces. And with the right tools and the right advice and the right push, it all comes to play.
And that's the thing that we enjoy the most about being able to come up with those different ideas, right? So, for example, you can take pictures of what's going on at all times, but it's hard to make it engaging or creative, right? So we help with that aspect of it. We're not just coming, taking pictures of what's going on and leaving, and that's it. We're cultivating that type of a different mindset. We're keeping things fresh. It's all about perspective, right? So you have a business that does the same thing every single day, the same way. It's hard to showcase that, right?
I mean, we have our weekly meeting with the team, and we talk about different. We brainstorm like what we need to do. Obviously, we're trying to sell. At the end of the day, my industry is to sell real estate.
Right.
That's it. So
Right.
I always we have to kind of reiterate that. But ultimately, how do we do it to make us stand out?
Right.
Why is somebody going to list their house at Josephbograd
Right.
and not with somebody else?
I heard about some of the stuff that you've done, just different ideas at closing to try to keep things fresh for people, right?
Yeah, we had the one guy who was detailed my client's car in the driveway while closing was going on.
That's
like
great.
You have to make these incentives. I mean, that's a good idea, and we might continue doing that. But we always want to try to make our team, our brand, our name resonate. Staying in front of the competition. And like I said, there's enough business for everybody, but we just want to be the go-to. When people think about real estate, I just want our name, our brand to be the ones that come to mind. And that's the name. And that's where you come to play. That's where when people come to you and they say, Johnny, I want people to know that I'm in the roofing business, that I'm the best roofer in town. There's nobody that's going to give them the best quality, best roof. And that's your job.
Right.
But if they're consistent with it and they have somebody like you, pushing in the right direction, that's what you need.
Right. And having those meetings is, I think, crucial, right? Like you said, I mean, you're doing weekly meetings. Obviously, your content level is up there.
Yeah, but our weekly, listen, we become more consistent with meetings. I always used to push the meetings aside.
Right.
And now we're on a pretty good, consistent, playing field. Every Monday we have our meetings, we talk, we shop, we talk shop rather, and we brainstorm what works and what doesn't work.
Right.
And I think that's one, I think without any type of plan, you're kind of just running in circles.
Right.
You have to have a plan.
Right.
So tell me this: what motivates like you to do this? Like I know, obviously, you make a good career for yourself. I'm sure you're doing very well at L. Faulkner, but obviously, you've always been interested in this, in media and photography. But what is it?
I've always been passionate about having professional appearance and professional content and growth. Mm-hmm. That's always been big to me. So being able to help people in any way I can. So. I had a friend who owns a boat dealership, and he's like, "Dude, I need a commercial for my store." He's like, "I just need to put something together." And coming up with those ideas to be able to create the content and to be able to stage it in a way where it's a professional appearance. Or, you know, I have a friend that owns a detailing business, and he's like, dude, I need some videos that showcase what we do. I don't want to see a picture of the car sitting outside. I want to show, like, what is it that we do?
I was going to say, you have, again, all these years you've met all these individuals being in the car business. I would imagine you have a steady flow of clients potentially that are just, you know, always knocking down your door, like, how should I do this? How should I do it? You should, every industry, right? What would be the industry that would be ideal for this type of service? Obviously, you said real estate agents. You said...
I say anything services-based is huge.
Okay.
You know, product obviously is important as well, but that's not something that you need as fresh content for, because product, you know, you can do candid material of whatever the product is that's being sold. So, you know, if you're selling, let's say, I don't even know, like a sauce or whatever it is. I mean, you can get some pictures and videos of the sauce being used, whatever. But services industries, I think, are the biggest part of it, because you're constantly working on new projects, right? You're always working on something different. You're always selling a different house. You're always, you know, doing a different type of, you know, roof job or renovation or, you know, exterior, whatever it is. It's always something different. So it keeps things fresh. And that's, I think, the hardest thing about doing social media and content, is coming up with those new ideas. So I think those industries have the best benefit from doing social media and the consistency of it and always coming up with new ideas, because you've got always a fresh take on what it is that you're doing. It's the services industry is the biggest part of it, I think.
Okay.
And, you know, I think there's a lot of industries that are lacking in it as well. I think the automotive industry as well as a whole does not focus a whole lot of energy on social media or content. You see a lot of dealerships, you know, and this is all of them, they post photos of the cars for sale, and that's really it.
I see. A couple of my friends are in the used car
Who's
industry.
the guy that made a TikTok and he went viral?
Well, my buddy Michael owns Rolls.
Okay, yeah.
And they have a very extensive, like, social media presence.
Right.
Like, he has his nephews, they run it, and they do an amazing job. But I think you have to stand out. Like, I know it because I see the videos, so it kind of stands out.
Right.
But I couldn't tell you any of the new. I think Shy fella, he has a nice.
He's got a nice
he does a great
presence,
social media presence as well. And my other buddy, my cousin Gene, they have Grace Auto with Dan. They have that dude from the I think the heavyset guy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He always with his shirt off.
Videos,
so again, it's memorable because, you know, they do these videos. They have these I guess influencers they use, and it kind of gains people's attention, gains people's eyes on it. But I couldn't tell you one new car dealership that does any type of marketing that comes to play.
They do a lot of marketing.
No, on TV, yes. I'm talking on social media.
And sponsored ads and this and that, but you don't see them doing social media. They don't.
Like, do they not need to?
You know, I think it's perspective. I think that's the biggest part of it.
You take a Chanel, you take a Louis Vuitton, you take these high-end brands where you can't get certain products, and they still do social media.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I would imagine a car dealership like a Mercedes, like a Faulkner or Lexus, whatever the case is, why wouldn't they?
Right.
Like, if I was a salesman working at Mercedes and Faulkner, I would utilize your services. Listen,
100%.
I want to take some videos. I have a whole arsenal of inventory.
Right.
Take videos. I can talk about every single car every day for the next 3 weeks.
There's the guy, Benz and Bowtie. I don't know if you've seen his videos.
No.
He's a sales manager at a Mercedes dealership.
Okay.
And he started making videos of his day-to-day, cars that come in, talking about different products, talking about programs.
Why wouldn't you?
The guy's viral. He posts videos now. He goes, thank you so much. You guys are calling from all over the country.
Yeah.
I can't believe it.
Yeah. And he probably has
all
a steady
he's doing is making videos. He's consistent videos.
It's videos, and people are interested in high-end cars. Actually, it doesn't have to be high-end. They're interested in cars. And if there is some, like, what's that other guy, George?
Saliba.
Yeah. He's also
great videos.
But he
keeps it raw.
Keeps it he actually reminds me a lot of what kind of we do in the house industry, with the cars, And he's got a great team, and, you know, it's interesting to watch.
And similar to what you said, he keeps it funny, right? Like, he'll walk around a car, he'll do an appraisal on a car, he'll be like, look at these wheels. Where did you drive this thing through? Like, he'll just call them out on it, right?
But this is what people want to see. The raw interaction between a potential buyer, seller, and the individual that's representing them. I mean,
there's a place for the polished material, right? That type of stuff you have to have. But at the same point, you want to have the funny, raw, unfiltered, engaging stuff as well.
Yeah, I think the polished material depends on the area. Like, for example, when we go to Miami, it's more of a high-end, kind of different type of public, typical network. So I feel like what we do in Philly and in Jersey, maybe it wouldn't fly
Right.
as well in Florida. It would in some capacity, but I
Yeah.
think sometimes things get a little bit rough, like this washer and dryer scenario. That I don't think would be a discussion in Florida.
Right.
But it makes
You might
things
just hang up.
Yeah, he might just hang up. So like, I'm done this conversation. But yeah, it all depends. You have to know your viewership. You have to
Right.
know who you're basically dealing with, and
Right.
and I think you have a good eye of what somebody would be looking for when it comes to this
appreciate that.
industry. Yeah. Who are some of the biggest influences in the content and media space for you? Like
good question.
who do you follow? Who do you?
I follow some of your typical big content people out there, right? Patrick Bet-David, I follow, Gary Vee, all these guys that I think the biggest thing with those guys, there's one common trait amongst them all is the consistency of it, right?
Right.
The consistency of the type of content they're putting out, the consistency of the message. The message is huge, right? You have to have that clear message of what you're trying to accomplish.
Right.
And really at the end of the day, all of these industries are just doing one thing. They're problem solving. That's all it is, right? The problem is, how do I get my brand out there? The problem is, how do I get more people? The problem is, how many people can I help? And they're making content that revolves around what they can do for those people, right? So whatever it is, whatever industry they're talking about, it doesn't even make a difference. But those are, I look at everybody. I look at people that talk about industry trends. I look at people that talk about things that are changing, right? You got TikTok coming to an end here.
So is that really going to
19th.
happen? They're saying January 19th.
19th,
it's over,
day
right?
before the
Inauguration.
yes, correct.
So that's it, right?
That's what they're saying.
They've been talking about it for a couple of years now, but I think they did not reverse it, so it's going to happen.
They did not, yeah. The latest from what I'm seeing is that's the end of it. They were trying to find a buyer within the U.S. I don't believe that they found one as of this point. But that's going to be a huge void in the market. And I think what you're going to see, the businesses that, and people, creators, content creators that are currently on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and putting the effort in now are the ones that are going to reap the benefits. Because if there's people out there that just do TikTok only, and that's it.
I know.
And they're going to fall flat off the earth.
I see more and more people getting into the YouTube space and the Instagram space,
Right.
and the Facebook space. I think I don't know. For some, do you agree with this? Do you think the Facebook space is more for the older demographic?
I think the older demographic spends more time on Facebook than they do Instagram.
Right.
But I see, and I deal with hundreds of people per month just being in the automotive industry. I think more and more are transitioning to Instagram, more like every single day. I see people that I would never expect to have an Instagram, but they do. They might not have any pictures on it, but they're following pages.
No,
and
my
looking.
parents have Instagram, and they just do it for the grandkids. So I feel like some people use Instagram for different purposes.
Right.
Family, just as, following certain, influencers or
Right.
celebrities, or to look at, beautiful architecture, houses, cars, whatever
Right.
the case is. I don't know. I'm always curious. We actually have this conversation pretty frequently about what avenues or what platforms to kind of adhere to more to. And I feel like Facebook is that older demographic.
Yeah, I think Facebook and Instagram are going to be the key pieces, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're not going anywhere. I mean, it's kind of ingrained in our society at this
And
point.
I think YouTube.
YouTube is the OG, I think, in my opinion. I think you have to be on YouTube.
Yeah.
I don't think you have to make the biggest effort to make the YouTube. I think if you're just putting the stuff out there. See, YouTube updated the platform, right? They have shorts. They have long
Well, that's
form.
been our claim to fame. I
Right.
mean, so to speak. We were not doing the long form videos. Like Roman was always pushing. He's like, you got to do more videos, long videos. We actually did the opposite. We were doing more shorts, and that's how we created our audience. Now I feel like algorithm has changed a little bit.
Yes.
And it's kind of gotten a little slow, and now we're getting more viewership on the longer videos.
Well, the algorithm's evolving really frequently. Like one thing that just recently changed, and Meta came out and talked about this, they said, we're going to reward the creators that create new content. The people that keep resharing, this is, and we'll talk about this, the downside of not doing fresh content on a regular basis. They said that the people that constantly reshare the same video that you've had on your page for a year, 2 years.
But what's the benefit of that? Like, why would I mean? Sometimes we have a few videos that have done extremely well, like 2, 3, 4 million views, and we're like, let's share that as like a fan favorite or like a throwback, whatever the case is. We do it very infrequently.
Right.
We might have like a lack of content for 1 day or 2 days. We'll just put that into the mix. But we always have new inventory, which keeps it people coming back for more.
Keep it fresh.
Why would you continue to share an old video?
The lack of ability to put.
But what would be the benefit?
There is none.
There's no benefit.
And Facebook and Meta and Instagram came out and point blank said, if you are resharing old content, that video is going to flop.
And so you think these content creators, they felt that, I'm going to reshare something, it's better than nothing. In reality, it's hurting them.
Or even really if you had, like, let's say you're a business and you paid a couple $1,000s for a very high-end production video and you're really proud of this video.
And you keep on resharing
the same video.
Yeah, and this is one of the reasons why when we started that, when Maya just started with us, we had another, team that was helping us out with like consulting. And, the whole game plan was to just, come out 2, 3, 4 days, film as much content, and then have that content available and then just use it in the future. But sometimes that you're kind of going back in time, it gets redundant. It's hard to get all that.
Dated. You got the same outfit.
Correct.
You got the same look.
You have to have the same. You have to wardrobe. It's a whole big to do.
Yeah.
That's why I think keeping it fresh, keeping it new, it draws the viewership, the algorithm. It helps that in every which way.
Right.
So, okay, that makes sense.
And people ask me all the time. They say, what's going to work? Well, I don't know.
It's all different.
I don't know.
Yeah.
The algorithm is evolving every single day.
100%.
But I can tell you the one thing that does work, and the thing that's a known, proven fact is consistency.
Yeah.
That will work. And you have to be consistent in your craft. And it doesn't matter what it is.
So if I'm a new client of yours, would you say, again, I know it's budget driven, would you say at least once a day in the morning, afternoon, evening, when would you be posting?
It's definitely budget driven. I would say that, and Facebook and Meta have come out and talked about this as well openly. They said, there's content creators that post 2 videos per week. And they do very well because the content is very engaging and attractive and polished or raw or unfiltered, whatever it is, right? They talk about this. The guy Adam, he posts the content. And there's no rhyme or reason. They say spend as much time you can being consistent. That's what they tell you.
Well, consistency we have.
That's all they talk about.
And I think that's key. Because do you think people are all expecting, like I know we look at analytics, what time of day is better, evening, morning,
it's
afternoon.
Changing. I mean, me and Mayank were just talking about this the other week. For the longest time, it was 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. For the longest time, it was 6 p.m. or 8 p.m. Right now, it's changing, right? You're seeing 7 a.m., 3 p.m.
See, to me, and we talk about this all the time, to me, I feel like you get out of the shower, you're getting dressed, you're getting out of bed.
Forget the shower. People are on the phone before the alarm even stops.
Yeah, whatever. They're in bed, it's 5:30, 6:30, whatever they get up. But usually people are getting up between, I'd say, 5 and 7, whatever. And I would think that is the best optimum time. It's not. I thought it would be. That's when I'm on the phone.
Right.
And then I'm thinking like people are going to bed between 10 and 12. It's not.
Right.
It's like, I think we looked at the analytics. I think on Sundays and Saturdays, it's one time.
Right.
And then on
every
Monday
day
through
is a little
Friday,
bit
it's different times.
yeah.
So now we're trying to adhere to those times because you obviously want to get as many eyes on the video or the content as possible.
Right.
So.
Yeah, it's ever evolving. It's something that we take a look at on a regular basis. I would say right now, as of recent, 7 a.m. time frame, you're one of the first things to pop up on the feed when people wake up, right? They're going to get the most recent content shared, and they're going to get some popular content shared on their feed. So I think 7 a.m. is a really sweet spot right now for people that, want to post on a regular basis. And then I think like around 3, 4 p.m. is doing pretty good as well, depending on the day of the week. Weekends are really like hit or miss. It's hard to know what's going to take.
I feel like weekends, and we talk about this too, I think weekends and holidays.
You're almost like beat.
Yeah. I mean, I think you need to do it for the consistency aspect of things. Yeah. But I don't think as many eyes are out there unless it's like a Sunday night.
Right.
I think we're doing football season, Sunday night, maybe there's more viewership, but I think Saturdays are totally dead.
Yeah, I think Saturday early when people are, strolling out of bed and going to brunch is probably a good one, or, whatever it is that your schedule is. But Saturday mornings, Sunday nights are pretty consistently decent. But, during the week, it's morning and night are pretty good as well. But again, every day is different. And it's always evolving. I mean, who knows what's going to change? I mean, for the longest time it was X and now it's Y.
Yeah,
so
100%. If you can collaborate with anyone in the world, like there's not to be definitely a creator or an influencer or even in the social media space, who would it be?
That's a great question. I would say, I don't know. That's a really difficult
Dead or alive?
question.
Anybody comes to mind?
Dead or alive?
No.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I don't think there's one individual person. I think I want to create content with as many people as I can. I think I want to collaborate with as many people as I can. That's the thing about meeting people in relationships is you get something different from everybody.
Yeah.
Right? And even the people that you don't expect it to the most. You may pick something up, a nugget from one person's conversation, and you may take it, and it may change the next 5 years of your life.
True.
And I think it's perspective. So I don't say that there's, one person that I'm obsessed with, I got to get something with this person if I could or I wouldn't. But I think I take something from every relationship I have and every encounter. And
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Well, let's do this. To wrap things up, what's one piece of advice you'd give someone looking to make a big career change like you did? Well, maybe not a change, but for you, it's an additional career that you're taking on. But what would be one piece of advice you'd give that person?
I would say that you have to apply yourself and your passion, and you have to just go for it. That's the biggest part. If you feel passionate about something and whatever that industry is, and you want to make a transition, or you want to pick up a new hobby, or you want to pick up a craft to work on the side, you have to be passionate about it, and you have to want to do it. Because if you're doing it just to try to make a dollar, it's going to flop.
You have to enjoy what you do.
You have to enjoy what you do every
100%.
single day.
And I love what I do, and I love the team that I do it with. And if you're not loving what you're doing, you got to change careers.
Right.
Without
100%.
a doubt. So, Johnny, it was good, man.
It was a pleasure.
Dude, thanks for being on the Boom Room Unfiltered. Guys, again, Johnny Bazooka, Bazooka Studios. If you guys are in the new industry and you're looking for some assistance in the social media space, geofencing, creating content, anything, photography, videography, this is your guy. And I appreciate you taking the time. Guys, thank you for watching the Boom Room Unfiltered episode number 11. Please, like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next episode in 2025.